That's pretty much episode. No, but this episode was so good. Hello, I'm Amano and welcome to my review of Game episode 6. This for me was a 10 out of 10 episode, bro. It was the best episode I ever did so far. We finally see actually Amano, of course, asking Tendou out, which I'm really happy about. We're gonna twist around and we're gonna make it a little more interesting, right? Throwing some new stuff in there. Because the episode 7 that was happening, right? It could be really interesting. And see how that's gonna affect like him and Chiakis mainly, I guess. Well, Chiakis should know then that Aguri probably is dating him, as she believes. But anyway, most of the episode was them laughing, but it was so good to see them all doing their own little like sheaming there. I have perfectly planned this. It's like, wait a minute. Or have I? And of course, next guy is like, I am perfect, I understood this. Or maybe I don't. And of course, leads them all to stare at each other here. I just love that scene. It was the best scene probably so far. When they're both staring at each other, Aguri and Tasuka, they're both doing it like, and they're both like, why is she staring at me for? This must be cheating. Why is he staring at me for? He must be cheating at me. It's like, this is weird. And we see, of course, Chiakis and MD like, why are they both staring at each other for? Why are they both doing this thing? They must be both cheating. This is absolutely worse. We, of course, Amano is trying to ask her out there. That was really brilliant. So first of all, saw them at the bar, at the restaurant. That was happened to be, and I just love the cute scene there where Amano and Aguri is passing them by with those food bricks, passing them by like that, hiding behind them there. It's like, I only heard the last sentence, but it's clearly cheating. It's like, I don't know, man. Like that's probably one thing you can learn from this anime. Don't jump to conclusion too quickly. That also was a good episode because we see the whole Tendou, right? Talking to the pastor guy, and he's like, have to be less decisive about it, have to be more nice. I can't just like bam bam, have to be more listening to what they're saying and so yeah, because she's always way too decisive, right? She's way too used to it being negative and you turn people down. He's like, maybe listen to him first before you say something. And then we see that she started crying when he's like, Tendou, have to ask something. It's like, oh, that was the wrong thing. Yeah. She of course calmed down, but like that is of course her big issue. Generally, that she's more negative and quick to judge. But every other character is also like, man, they are like, I only heard one word, but that word clearly proves this thing. When they're staring at her, they're both like, this can only mean one thing. It's like, can it really only mean one thing, right? So there's something you definitely learn in this anime. Do not, this more than what it seems to be, usually. But also, of course, they are overanalyzing everything. So I guess they're both going too short. Lower times, they're doing like very little here. And so that thing is like crazy, right? So you kind of feel they're doing both of the biggest issues. Interesting enough. But I mean, generally it was an amazing episode. So for that scene, right, that was kind of funny. Yeah, I know, again, I loved how Aguri was doing economical. I love the reference there. She like mental breakdown. It's like B, B, A, yeah. It's like it's like cheating code. It's like, what? Oh, I love that. And then of course we get to this whole thing with them. How he's playing the game, the Vision Noah game. That was just so silly. So there's an Amano thing. He's like, this girl is getting assaulted. Should I save her or not? The girl I like in the game. Run away. It's like, no, can't assault. It's like, bad end. She never returned to school the next day, right? So pretty much, yeah, like she got killed. It's like, I don't understand why I never can pass this game. It's like, what? It was a little weird though. The conclusion from him was later on that, I have to be nice to all the other girls because usually you go for that girl you like, which is true. Many visual games, if you go for more than one girl, you either get some kind of weird triangle ending perhaps, or you get some kind of weird horror ending, right? So you usually kind of have to focus on one girl, maybe another one, but usually one girl. And then later stage of the game, you have to pick just one girl at least if you do more than one. Whereas you won't get like a good ending, unless you get like some kind of half-ass ending with everyone. And not a good, best, perfect life ending with everyone, but some kind of half-ass thing where you kinda didn't score with anyone and then kinda fizzles out. Or maybe you score a little with everyone, but nothing really. Like those kind of endings, if you want like a true marriage ending, you should have to go with one a lot, right? Like every option you have with one character has to be this character. If there are multiple characters you can go out with something like that in several scenarios, you can do it all at once if that character isn't there, usually. So if you have A, B, C, let's say to F characters, and if you go for A, you wanna date this girl, you wanna get Flora, and if you have some option about, okay, who do you wanna go today with, B, C, or D, that doesn't matter, so you can just pick whatever there. But every time F, or say A is there, Flora. Okay, let's say F for Flora. Every time Flora is there, every time F is there, you have to pick F, right? So you have to pick Flora every time she appears. So if next day in this game, it will be like A, B, F. I have to pick F, right? However, that could be an issue, as you said there. So I agree with you on that it could be like, if you pick A every time F isn't there, then you end up with like F 10 times, A 10 times. That actually could give you like a mediocre ending, because you didn't actually like love someone, right? You picked both of them, kind of was doing it. So that's an interesting point to see him. He's like, okay, this F girl, Flora, she actually kind of triggered by you being friends with everyone. That's how she gets with you. You have to be friends with everyone, that she likes you and so on. So that's a good lesson, of course, from Mission Over games. That could be, some of the characters could be that, or the characters could be very jealous, so you can't be friends with anyone, they actually can't go with them. But it was a little weird. I liked the scene, but also a little weird because it wasn't very consistent. Because also was like, but you lost this scene here because you didn't do what you should do, right? Like the scene when he lost her was she was attacked by thugs, and he was like, "I run away." Because that's how I act in real life. And I was like, that's not like. And then after that, it was like, well, maybe I have to do A, B, C, D, E, and F, but formally focus on F, but do everyone else as well. That everyone else would be friends with them and so happy everyone else, then F will like me more. Like, okay, that's her kind of flag, so fine, I guess. But that shouldn't really be the lesson from what's happening in the game. What's happening in the game, I would argue, should be more like, maybe I have to kind of do something which I'm not very comfortable with, go out of my comfort zone, like saving this girl, like something like that. Felt more like this should be the conclusion of what's happening in the game. And that actually would have been kind of more what happened at the Tendou when he was like, I should ask her out, because normally I wouldn't do it. It's kind of like, if you look at my favorite episode of Seinfeld, where George Best character, right, when he's like doing everything in the reverse. It's like, I never get good girls, but if I just tell a girl, oh, you're normally I was hitting her because she's pretty, I'm gonna call her ugly instead. And like, he does everything in the reverse, and everything's perfect for him. He does everything in the reverse, like, yeah, I should have talked to my boss today because I did. I will because of this, and then I respected you. Like, everything in reverse. And that's kind of what I would feel. You should have learned from that. Okay, I'm afraid, and I always play this game. Maybe to realize that I cannot play this game exactly as I am, and that's why I have to change my own behavior. He did do it though, in more like a friendly manner, like he's with Chiakis more, I guess, and so on. Primarily, I guess, but that's a little weird. I still liked it though, but it was a little weird. That conclusion didn't really connect with the previous, like, He didn't like. If the bad end was more like, you're nice, Kieta, but I heard you were mean to Chiakis last night, so I wanna date you. Like, if that was what Flora turned down for, and he was like, maybe I have to be friends with all the characters at bare minimum, and then I can date this guy. Like, that would be more like, yeah, interesting, because you're always horrible to Chiakis-san. But it was more like, oh, I'm a pussy that runs away from a fight, right? That was more that, yeah, he's a frail chicken. That was more how it was, right? So it's kind of like, really, that's the conclusion. So I mean, I love that scene though. I love that he was running away, because that was like, he's playing the game as he's playing real life, right? He's like, well, I'm afraid of people in real life, so I'm gonna run away. That probably doesn't lead you to get the girl you want if you leave her to get assaulted by some random thugs on the streets. It's like, yeah. But that kind of fits him. He's like refusing to play the visual novel games as a gamer. Like, he's like a very, very narrative-driven guy. He just plays the game as he would do in real life. When I play with novel game in that game, I'd be like, obviously I saved the girl, because that's gonna lead me to like getting with the girl. Yeah, like that obviously was intended to be the gaming goal. Yeah, that but obviously is the game designer's goal intentionally. So I'm gonna play A here. He's like, B, I would be in real life. I was like, no, that's horrible. Maybe it could trigger a scene though, if you do B once. Say before, look at the B scene, and then you're loading with the A route. maybe. But anyway, I liked it how it concluded in the ending there. So obviously he was planning to say, oh, when I want to be friends with you, but instead he said, like, can I go out with you? And you're the and she's like, yeah, I'm happy about that. Wait, what did I say yes to now? Like, she was shocked too, because she's so mainly I don't think it mainly was. First, I thought about, oh, she thought he was gonna ask her out about like more friendly way, and she was like, yeah, you're like, wait, did you ask me out to be girlfriend? What did I say now? Yeah, I think that wasn't actually what I was shocked. I think that was my first impression, but I looked at it again, I was like, no, I think it was more about that she was so convinced he was gonna turn her down, right? So he said anything positive. She was like, yay, that's great. It was like, wait, what did he say now? I was like, wait, did he ask me to be his girlfriend? Oh, that's great. Yeah, I was like, what? But I liked it a lot. Great ending, and I liked how that's gonna like develop the series, right? Develop the anime. Halfway through the anime, it's gonna change up a lot. I guess they're gonna date more and so on now. So yeah, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And then of course the whole part before that. I mentioned earlier, it was great. See them all being scared. Refuses to get eye contact. It's like, help me! Like, oh, look at you. And listen to weird. And again, that weird thing and so on. Oh god, that scene was hilarious. The whole like, I just laughed constantly pretty much the whole like 10 minutes there. The last 10 minutes was just ridiculously funny. It was the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. Just laughing. It's so good, right? The only problem I would say with anime is there is not much with games, right? I said it before, this episode, like, wow, they had like no game reference really, except the Konami reference. Yeah, but like nothing else. But I think it's okay in this episode, because the episode really concludes something that they're finally gonna date now, so hopefully this, yeah. So I think the actually was pretty okay, because the episode probably goes with them and be like, okay, now they're gonna go out, put their arcade together, gonna have some dates, and how that's gonna happen. So I liked it, yeah. So it kind of worked, I think, anyway, because it went into that. So it felt like it had a lot of story progression, so it was fine to skip. Well, I had the whole vision of one thing, but it was very short. I'm not talking about it for a few minutes here, but it was very short, it was like 2-3 minutes, right? That's true though, but it's kind of weird how they never like play games together and so one thing, I guess. But the hell she referring to it? Yeah, it's more like a third. How she was like, he's taking out, she's a normie getting his money, I'm gonna save him. That actually was confusing to me, and it's still confusing to me though. The Chica part, that was confusing. That was probably the part I actually didn't really get, to be honest. Because in her way, first of all, I thought she was going to change her mind and be like, he's just a cheater probably. Because all the other two, they changed their mind and they're like, wait a minute, yeah, they did that kind of thing. She was like, and she just kept doing that. I thought she was going to be like, oh, he's just a cheater, I hate him. But she didn't. That was surprising. That was good, I guess, all the same thing. But her, like, I don't get her agenda, I guess. That's a little confusing there. Her agenda is confusing, yeah. It's like she's gonna have to save him. She, I guess she, likes him, or at least forgives him. But at the same time, it's like, does she want to be Tasuka? And then she was, no, they're definitely going out. Her shock, of course, because they're like, well, saving each other is natural. But at the same time, she should be happy or not, because it means that Kieta isn't dating her, but no, yeah, but that was for just turned out though, so yeah, that was a little confusing. I don't know what she actually wants. It felt a little weird there. Her intentions were a little muddled there. I think that's a concluding here of the episode. Yeah, that was a little muddy. So that's going to be interesting to see as well how she's going to react to how I say Tendou is that. Leaves her as a third wheeler, yeah, but she is Mono-san, so there's like really go out with Mono-san in the end. It feels like he will, right? It feels like Amano is like, she's the perfect girl for you. You play this game, you've been best friends for like 10 years, you love her games, like, it feels like they're gonna go out at the end, right? Tendou-san is like the perfect princess, but I guess it feels like Chiakis is gonna take her place, he's like perfect girl in the end, right? Because she's like, well, at the same time though, she's like a female version, it's a gender-bending version of him, right? So, I don't know. There's a little weird her tension. Anyway, see you next week and have a great